Okay. So I guess you can just correct the description as well as the title, and yet people have not joined. So sort of please share the link as well of the live stream.
Okay, भैया. The test stream, right?
Yeah, the test stream one.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Shiraz, can you send me the YouTube link on WhatsApp, like
yeah, yeah,
the stream link?
yeah, surely sending. Yeah. Milind, is everything configured? Then we should start. Yeah. Okay. So hello everyone. Yesterday we had some amazing three sessions, starting from the keynote session of Siddhant Agarwal to the opening session by Tarun Singhania, and then the Android session by VK Chaitanya. We have gathered more than 1,500 views in our YouTube channel, and we are very happy with the response. And today we are hoping to get a more better response with our design talk session, that is with Samim Jahid. And I would like to request Ashita Narayan to give a brief intro about our speaker. Ashita, over to you.
So good evening, everybody. We have with us Sameem Jahin Bhaiya, a CSE graduate from NIT Silchar, has in his bag a Gate AIR 43 and is currently working as an SDE in Amazon. He is a great UX UI enthusiast, and well, I am very excited to know more about UI UX from him. So, with much ado, I guess let's start.
Okay, I guess we should get started. Over to you, Bhaiya.
Hello, everyone. So, yeah, so I think we can start. So basically, when it comes to UI UX, it becomes a very tough talk for me. For the reason being that professionally, I am a software developer, and I don't have a formal degree in UX design, so to say. But it's been years since I've been interested in this thing, and I have been doing UX design. But yeah, since I don't have a formal degree, like when it comes, like someone approaches me that, can you please give a talk on UX design? So I always get a second thought that should I do? Like, am I eligible for this? But since like something that I'm really interested in, and it is organized by my juniors at my college, I think yeah, I should hop in and I should like try my best at least. Yeah. So as you can see, like what I aim for this talk is to be a very candid talk. I don't want it to be very formal and of sorts. So that is what I want this talk to be. I want everyone to be interactive, put in the questions, and I think that is how this talk will go forward. So we'll have a Q&A session at the end, as you all know. So I'll just try to wrap up what I have like briefly, and then we can go into the Q&A. So my main agenda for this talk is basically to let you all know what UX design is as a field or as a job, whatever you can consider it. So like what UX design is, and how as beginners we can get into UX design. Like if you are doing a formal degree in it, then maybe this talk won't be that relevant to you. But if you are someone who is doing this apart from their main degree, or apart from like as a hobby or something, and then maybe they want to switch careers and they want to do it on the side, then maybe this talk will be helpful. Yeah. So, and if I have some time at the end, we'll also talk about design thinking. So let's start with what is UX design. So if we say like what is UX design? So if you go to Google and like search for definitions, you will get like many definitions. Like you'll get long definitions. Like if you can see in my screen, I have one that I took. I have one that this is the first definition that you can find on the Google search page. So it says like what it says. I don't think you need to read that, and that is why I have made it so small. So yeah, if you can see, it's not even visible, I think, and that is done intentionally because I don't want you to read those definitions. There are many definitions on UX design, and you won't get like I don't find any value in them because what I think UX design is, it is basically chaos. And why when I say it is chaos, because I feel that those you can get some standard definitions, and yeah, you can think that okay, I know UX design, but when it comes scenario, when it comes when you go deep dive into the thing and you start learning UX design, you will see that it has many things in it. And then if you look at job profiles, if you look at job profiles on if you look at job profiles on like job search pages, or if you get into it and then start exploring it, you will know that there are many things, and the term UX design is generally very misunderstood. So when like, and moreover there are like many uh, profile names related to it. So someone will say it is UX design, someone will say it is UX engineering, someone will say it is UX research, someone will say UI UX design. So there are a ton of profiles that are linked to each other, and therefore it becomes very difficult to define UX design. So yeah, so but if in general you look at UX design, people will you will think that it is basically to if I go to define it and if I try to clear the chaos, it is basically making experiences, like making users experiences easy. So when I say that like when I say that it is to make users experiences easy, what does it mean? So when you go to an app and then your whole experience, not just the visual, like from which screen you are going to which screen, all those things, like everything is included in UX design. So there is a visual part to it, and there is a psychological part to it. So when I say visual part to it, then it is basically how your app looks aesthetically, the design, the colors and all in that page. But when we say psychology, a lot of psychology is involved in it. So what UX designers now many things they do is like they try to uh, basically you have to look at the functionality also, not just the visuals. So um, if you look at an app and then if it is not well designed, you will notice it. Like it's really difficult to explain. If I ask you that what is wrong with the app, you may not be able to explain what is wrong with the app, but once you use it, you know that something is wrong with the app. And the main purpose of UX designers is basically to find out what is wrong with those apps and design it. So yeah, so find out what is wrong with that apps and solve those things. So um, and then solve it. So yeah, so in I think I'll just get into how to get into UX design, because that is what will make more sense. So if I say how to get into UX design, so first you have to understand what UX design is. That will be the first step. I was trying to, but it is really difficult to explain what UX design is. So what the best approach you can do is you should take a course. When I say you should take a course, you should take some good course. And like if you look at some courses, you will find some courses on Coursera. There they will have basically the steps. There you will find the steps. So can I just pause for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
I'm like getting a distance.
Okay, please. Guys, hold on for just some time. He will be returning shortly.
Hello, everyone. So, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible. Please.
So, I was getting a disturbance and like I got distracted. Sorry for that. So, are you streaming now?
Yeah, yeah, we are streaming. We
Okay.
can move ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So, basically, I'll just since there was a very big distraction and things were got messed up. I think I'll just go back to the previous slide and say what is UX design. Yeah. So I'm really sorry for that. Okay. We wasted some time, but yeah, I think we'll just go smoothly from now on. Yeah. So when we talk about UX design, it is basically it is the field in itself is a chaos. There is a lot of definitions revolving around UX design. There are a lot of profiles in UX design that you can look at, and you are bound to get confused. So if we generate, like if in my words, if I sum it up, it will basically be, and when I if you in the screen you can see, and I have written and strike through chaos. So what I have done that is basically in my definition UX, it in itself is chaos, but its aim is to reduce chaos. Where do you reduce chaos? In your users experiences, in your users experiences of using your app. When I say app, UX design can be basically not just an app. It can be involved with anything, any product that you are trying to develop. So as UX designers, our main aim is to reduce the chaos in our products. So when how to get into UX design? So basically, I have don't I'll not include anything in the screen for this because uh, how to get into UX design, it will be a very broad thing to talk about. Everyone will have their own ways of learning it, and but it is always good to have a path that you can follow. So like if I like to divide this process of learning UX, I basically say there will be basically 2 to 3 steps. So first step will be to understand what UX design is. The second step will basically be to practice, and the third step will be to build a network. And like regarding the first step, how to get to know what UX design is. So for these steps, there are a few different things that you can do. Uh, the first thing you can obviously do is get a course. Like when I say get a course, it does not mean that I'm telling you to pay for a course. There are a ton of free courses on YouTube, on other websites like Coursera. Yeah, you need to pay to get certificates, but certificates are not that important. So when I say you should get a course, why do I say that? I say that because since I've already told this field as a whole is very chaotic, is very confusing. So when you get a course, you get a path to follow. You will just that will never be enough. Anything you learn in a course, especially for the field of UX design, it will never be enough. So but when you take a course, you just get a skeleton that you can follow. So there, if you like recently I did a course on Coursera. So what they were doing there was like in the first few modules, they were telling us what UX design is. They were telling us the psychology behind it, like what mindset you need to have. And then they were making us create a small making us create a small page. They're just basically letting us make a page. So learning to make one single page is obviously not enough. You cannot just complete that course, maybe pay for it and get a certificate and say that you are a UX designer. That is totally not gonna happen. So but what that does, it gives you a very brief introduction to it. So and as we know that like the starting that to get started into thing, the first initial push is what is the most important. So once you get into the field, then what happens is like basically once you get into the field, you will like since I told that there are many different things in UX design. There will be research, there will be the visual aspect of design, there will be the interaction design part of the app, then there will be again basically the user review part that is basically involved in research only, and all those things. So once you get into the field, once you get a course that covers the whole process, then what happens is you will start to know like, okay, there are these things in UX, and I specifically like this part, I don't like the other parts. That is also possible. uh, Often it happens that when you are getting going for a UX design role or a job or maybe an internship, what is expected of you is that what is expected of you is that you should know everything. You should, from the starting, like from the initial wireframe part to the high end design. Like when I say high fidelity model, basically it is the using all the styles, using all the colors, the final version. They expect you to do that, and then they also expect you to get user feedback and then reincorporate it. So this whole process is a very long process, and nowadays what companies are doing is they are basically starting to divide it. So if you look at the Google design jobs page, which I think is design.google/jobs, I think. So if you go through that page, you will see that there are about 7 to 8 roles, 7 to 8 job roles. Some will say UX engineer, some will say UX researcher, some will say UX scientist, or some will say visual designer, some will say interaction designer. So there are many different parts that you can go. There are some people who will like everything and they will be a whole full-fledged UX designer, but there will be some people who will basically be only be involved in the visual part of the things. Some there will be some who will be basically be involved only in the research part of things. So that can also be done. So but to know that, like if I just list all the roles in my page, you will just look at them and you'll forget them. That doesn't make sense. So what you should instead do is you should get a basic course, get an introductory course that will basically like give you a feel of the thing, and then you can start exploring from there. That should be a good starting point. And other thing you can do, like this is not an alternative to the courses thing, but this is something you should do that you should do along with it. That is getting in touch with people, who are into this thing. Like whenever you look at a field, be it UX design, be it teaching, be it a software developer role, what happens is from the outside, what you see, and the actual thing is never the same. If some, like all of you are in college, you might not be knowing that, but if you talk with professionals, you will see that okay, they will be saying that okay, I was expecting this, but it is not this. So before you put your full dedication into any field, be it UX design or be it anything else, the first thing that you should do is get to know that field and get some inside knowledge, like information about that field. So it is always a good idea to talk with professionals like who are into the field and ask them like what are you experiencing, what do you do on a day-to-day basis, because once you get into this field, you will also be doing those things on a day-to-day basis. So it is always a good idea to get to know those things upfront. And then the second part about practice. So if we talk about practice, even here you have basically two things. One, like generally, if you look at any designer or any creative field, so let us talk about someone who does basically graphic design. So what usually happens, I have seen in college, like I have been a graphic designer during my time in college. So what I often see is that people learn the software like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and like similarly there are softwares in UX design such as Adobe XD, Figma, and those. So what people do is they just learn the software and then they think that they are done. But that is not the thing. That is just the first part of the thing. Like that is the first part of learning and practicing. So obviously that is necessary. You cannot just without knowing any software, it's very difficult because your competitors, your peers will be using those software, and it is always a good idea to know those softwares, but we should not be dead focused on the softwares alone, because anybody can learn a software. He does not have to be a designer. If you just give a random kid like if you just ask one like a class 5 or 6 student to come and learn a software, like if you give them the proper resources to learn, they will be able to learn it, because learning a software is basically knowing where those tools are and what those tools can do. So knowing that is not enough. You should be like, obviously that is not enough. So as I showed, there are two parts. The first part is obviously learning, getting to know the designs, like know the softwares, and the second part will basically be practicing. And when I say practice, it's not just so it is not just about practicing a certain tool or something. You should practice from start to end. and then okay, so when I say start to end, basically you should get into you should just think in your mind, okay, so I want to practice UX design today, so what will I do? So you should take up projects instead of just focusing on a page or something. You should take up projects. Okay, then for example, you can just say that okay, we are using Meet. So if you should just say, okay, this is Google Meet and this is the UX. Okay, so I see that this is a problem here, and then what you can do is you should like from the starting to the end. Okay, I want to design something like Google Meet. So what should be my thought into it? Like, how should I go about it? So you should find the flaws in Google Meet and then maybe try to fix it. Obviously, you should not start with Google Meet because it is a very well designed app, and it may so happen that you won't be able to find any flaws in it. So just start with some random app, maybe your banking app, your banking app of State Bank, or maybe some other thing. So you use those apps on a regular basis, and you often feel that, okay, this thing in the app, like not just functionality, but yeah, this thing does not look good, this thing does not work well, like this icon should not have been here, it should have been here, this icon should be a little bigger, or this icon should be a little smaller. So all those things affect the user experience. So anything that affects the user experience and anything that comes into your mind, you should try to improve that. So that is one good idea. Like, you can take a app that is already in the market and you can try to redesign it, and that you can do. And the second thing you can do, it you can start with this from scratch. You can think, okay, this is an idea I have of the app. I'm not a software developer, but yeah, I want to design the app, and maybe someone else can develop it. So it is always a good idea to maybe like since most of the audience will be engineers, I think. So even if you're not into an app design or whatsoever, you can get into touch with your friends. Okay, so what app are you building? So if he says that I'm building this app, you should go ahead. Okay, like let me design the UX for it. So you should take as a project that is not paid. Obviously, you should not, in the starting, you should not think about that. So you should just take his idea, you should help him improve the UX design, and then you should do it from first to last. And then first, just doing it is not enough. One most important thing is feedback. So once you are done with the design, once you have completed, you have started from the requirement gathering phase to the final design, what you should do is you should take feedback. And how should you take feedback? So one thing is that obviously self feedback. You can just keep using that app, like keep going through your design constantly and try to find flaws in it. But that is really difficult, because as designers, what happened, we get emotionally attached to our designs. We always feel that okay, our design is really good. There may be some people who always feel that their design is bad, but generally what happens is we tend to like our design, we tend to not see flaws in our design, because while designing the thing, we are so much into it that we often don't see the flaws. So we should always give others to see our design, and we should take their what to say feedback. And specifically in UX design, you can randomly give anyone to use your app. You can literally give an old, like you can literally give your uncle, your aunt to see, okay, so this is the design I made for an app, what do you think about it? And why that is relevant, because when you design an app, everyone will be using it. So like, for instance, as when they were designing WhatsApp, they cannot think that okay, only smart people will be using our app. So anyone who does not have a sense of design, who does not have a sense of apps in general, even now they are using WhatsApp. So in UX design, it is very easy to get testers. For example, if you are doing software development, then what happens is, if you're giving someone to check your code or anything, that person needs to be thorough with the what to say. That person needs to have a sense of needs to have a knowledge of software development. Only then they will be able to give you feedback. But in UX design, anyone and everyone can give you feedback. And then when they give feedback, you should always be humble, and you should like be open to them, because as I told that your customers, your users are basically everyone. So in that sense, like, you should be always open, and you should not think that okay, he does not have a sense of this thing or whatever. You can just give randomly anyone to go through your things and then do that. Yeah. And then after practice, the third part is building a network. So when I say building a network, and you may be thinking that why do I need to build a network? Like is not that only for like to say the people who are on social media or people who are into freelancing or whatever? Yes, that is true to some extent. Like freelancers in, like if you want to do UX design as a freelancer, in that situation it is like more important to get a network. That is true. But even if you're looking for a job, it is good to build a network. And when I say a network, I just don't mean hiring managers or recruiters from companies who could probably give you a job. No, that is not all. When I say network, it is basically communities and basically anyone like your peers. So what happens is, since UX design is a very evolving field, every day like new things will come up. Like if you just go to some websites like Dribble or maybe ux.cc or like any design website, you will see that every day new people are creating new designs. Every day there will be millions of designs coming up, and then every day some new trend will come. And what happens in UX design is basically trends get followed. That is another thing that you need to look. So for example, the stories thing, it was earlier in Snapchat, I think, and now Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, even I think on YouTube also you get those stories things. So trends get followed, and if you are in this field, you need to be constantly updated with the trends. You need to know what the trends are and to know about those trends. And regarding the feedback also, for getting a good feedback also, it is always good to be a part of communities. You can find communities on, you can say, Facebook. You can follow pages on Instagram. You can find people on Slack also. There are many communities you will find there. Then you will find communities on Discord. So you need to be part of those communities, and what that does is basically that keeps you updated with the scene, with the field. And then also you will find you'll get motivation from there when you see someone constantly, like especially in my case, see, since I'm a software developer, like from Monday to Friday I just keep on developing softwares. And what happens is I only design on like weekends. So what happens is, like throughout the week I forget about design, like because I'm already so busy here. I got to like I get basically into this thing, and I forget the thing. But whenever like I have followed so many pages, I'm a part of so many communities on Discord. What happens is, whenever I open my Facebook, I'll get some random notification from some of those communities, and when I just open that, I'll see, okay, this is happening, this is a new thing, this is coming up, this is a new software that is coming up. I like need to know about those things. So yeah, so it is always a good